Fed Week turned Real Housewives of the central bank. President Trump has been very vocal, very public with his demands for Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. He's then walked those back and then doubled down on them. Classic chaos. This week, following Powell's announcement that the central bank would hold rates steady while keeping their plans to cut them twice before the end of the year, well, that spurred some commentary from FHFA's Director Bill Pulte. I have all the juicy details for you, and I'm not going to hold any punches, because who gonna check me, boo? What is FHFA? Bill Pulte oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These are government-sponsored enterprises. They don't lend money directly to home buyers, but they buy mortgages from banks like mine, bundle them up into mortgage-backed securities, and then sell those to investors. This system keeps mortgage money flowing, and it also helps set the rules for what mortgage guidelines will be, like how long you have to be self-employed before you can use that income to qualify, or acceptable sources for down payment funds. Pulte criticized the central bank's choice to hold rates steady, stating that these higher rates are causing the affordability crisis. He made multiple posts on X and even TV appearances calling for Powell to cut rates or quit. But would rate cuts really solve all of our problems? I know I sound like a broken record, unless you're new here, in which case you need to hear this. The Fed funds rate does not directly translate into mortgage interest rates. The Fed funds rate is the short-term lending rate. It impacts credit cards and HELOCs directly. Mortgage bonds, investor behavior, it's definitely impacted by Fed policy, but on some days, a Fed rate cut could actually result in higher mortgage interest rates. We've seen that happen. And even if the Fed cuts the federal funds rate by 25 basis points, that will not mean that mortgage interest rates go down by a quarter of a point. Behind every 30-year fixed mortgage is an investor deciding whether that mortgage is a good bet or a risk. If investors pull back, rates go up. That's what we're seeing right now, and it's the reason why affordability is still such an issue, even in a softening market when it comes to prices. Another important piece of this whole inventory crisis is inventory, right? Pulte thinks that these higher interest rates are keeping homeowners locked into those golden handcuffs we've talked about. But we also know what the market is like when interest rates are lower, remember? There's a lot more buyer demand and nowhere near an equivalent increase in the supply of homes available for all these new buyers to buy. So it very quickly becomes a seller's market again and home prices start reaccelerating. This would effectively end this short window of a buyer's market that we're currently experiencing. Rates may drop this year, but that won't make homes more affordable, and this is very important for buyers to understand. The best time to buy is right before everyone else floods back into the market. So should Powell step down? This might be above my pay grade. As you know, I'm only a mortgage lender, but as you also know, I have a lot of opinions. It kind of irks me when folks who wouldn't even pass an Econ 101 class start calling Powell and the other members of the central bank idiots. Doesn't really land well. Plus, call me crazy, but I do like the various systems of checks and balances our country was founded upon. The Federal Reserve is not one of the three arms of the government, sure, but it was designed to be independent of political pressure for a variety of reasons. Powell's playing the long game on inflation, and honestly, that's probably the right call. Housing affordability matters. It's important. So does the cost of literally everything else. This isn't just a mortgage issue, it's a systemic one. So watch this space closely, because what comes next will not just shape the rest of 2025, but the entire next decade to come.